thought this was fitting for a Monday. Good morning, everyone. 9:41 on this 15th day of September. Hope you guys are doing well. A lot of course, YouTubers are on a little faster today. I always get the heads up. Hope everyone's doing well. And yeah, Tater Tot, hope you're going to be feeling better. Just saw your note there. Who was first today? Weather Geek? Weather Geek was first. Welcome aboard. Okay, yeah, thanks, Tater Tot. So your comment there. Yeah, I hope you get better. We'll be pulling for you there, okay? Hello to Brian. Got that storm early, that storm early on Sunday was insane. Yeah, that's the thing. We're going to talk about that. That was a very odd setup. As some of us got some decent downpours, some of us got absolutely nothing, and that would be yours truly as well. But hey, here's some good news to always share with you guys. We have 7 days, a week from today, in the afternoon hours, it'll officially be autumn. And the calendar does look like it may actually match the weather this year. We've done this a few years, right? Where it seems to have a flip at about that same time. Well, it looks to be that way. I'm not ready to declare 90 is over once we get to the end of this week, but perhaps a week from today, I may be able to say just that. And that's always exciting, be able to declare that the 90s are done for the year. Sometimes we have to wait longer than others this year, maybe again, right on cue with the calendar. More on that longer term setup in just a second. Here's a live look down into Bardstown. Sun is up there, obviously. We've got some stratocumulus there, looks like into the distance. Louder Than Life is getting ready to start up the stages now that Bourbon and Beyond has shut down. So now they just do a reset, and we get ready for another big crowd later this week. I do see that everything looks to be fairly quiet to start things off, but it's the weekend that we'll have more questions when it comes to any type of rain or thunderstorms. I'll have more on that again in just a second there. All right, let's talk about that rain, though. First off, the burn bans, total off the subject, but I want to make sure to contrast this to what I'm about to show. Burn bans that are out. Indiana, just only a few of our counties so far have been out, including Washington County, Indiana, Orange County, Indiana, including Salem and Paoli, and then get toward Evansville, that entire region, also under burn bans. And then into Kentucky, it's the bluegrass area of Kentucky, roughly some of the higher terrain there as you head into those hills there along the Ohio River from Switzerland County, Indiana, through Trimble, Kentucky, near the capital, and then all the way down into areas around Bowling Green. Now, we obviously had some rain yesterday. I don't know if that's going to make a difference on this week's outlook. The ground will get sampled tomorrow, and I'm not expecting much to really happen in the next 24 hours. So some areas, especially east of 65, may certainly go into a widespread moderate drought with the update, which will be out this Thursday, the way it's trending anyway. Currently, the moderate on the drought status is roughly along and south of the parkways, but I think that will expand much more across east central areas of the region. Now, areas west 65, I don't know if you had enough to really get out of the drought completely, but it may prevent you from going into the next level up. And that's because that stripe of rain, here it is, that developed, just basically hugged right there along and west of I-65. I had, I think, 4 raindrops that fell at my house. I could hear the thunder, and I was really hoping this band would build a little more east, but it didn't do that. So for those of you on the western side of the city, all the way down to Valley Station, some spots well over an inch of rain, close to 2 inches that fell on radar estimates anyway. Probably a little less was the reality there. And then stretches all the way down into areas of Hardin County, getting all the way down into Edmonson County, Kentucky eventually, where that rain just kept building on that western side. So type 1, if you got rain out of this band. Type 2 if you're still waiting. If you're still waiting. I got a feeling we're going to have more 2s. But then again, a lot of you are on the western side of 65, I've noticed over the years. Hey, Sean, hope you're doing well. In Taylorsville, been up all night doing that road work on Preston Highway. Oh, boy. Well, appreciate you, Sean. Be safe out there. Some wild drivers, that's for sure. Good weather for all the construction projects, which is usually why you see them more this time of year, just because it's typically the driest time. So pretty often we get that stuff done. A lot of 1s. Wow. All right. 1's definitely out doing the 2s. 0.3 there, Travis had in southeast Trimble. Interesting. Okay. Jonathan, just a few drops. Yeah, same here. Just a few drops that I got as well. All right. Well, that was the only rain really that we had to track for the weekend. We had a little bit of rain action on our northern counties on Saturday, but that fizzled out dramatically by the time I got here. So I hope you got some of this. If not, it may be a while. We do have some cumulus already trying to form today, but moisture levels where it counts, not in the right spots. So once again, it's mainly a dry setup across wave country and heating up. I think we'll be very close to 90. Our temperatures have been very close to what we've been having as our outlook. If anything, we've been trying to underplay even the data, and that seems to be the fair thing that's worked out in this scenario. Even though we have a dry ground, that sun angle is getting lower. So it's getting harder to get a lot of 90s in the area. But we can certainly touch it today and again tomorrow. Same storyline is still at play. We're waiting to see if this coastal low in the Carolinas will throw enough clouds our way. I don't see it moving right over us, but it will at least throw clouds at us because it's so nice. And that may provide for some shade and more of a hazier sky for the middle of the week, which may shave off a couple of degrees. But it really will depend on how many clouds it throws at us. If it doesn't throw that many or they're very, very thin, you're not going to see much of a change in the temperature profile. Once we get beyond that, then we've got to deal with whatever this mess is here into the plains. And that's going to be, I'll draw this out on how that will play out as we get into the upcoming weekend. I think that's our biggest forecast challenge will be that system. All right, let me breeze to this future cast. This is going to be really easy. It's showing a few blips. I mean, I guess you could get one or two showers where the moisture is a little deeper, but that's right on the edge of wave country. It's more down toward the land between the lakes area of Kentucky and West Tennessee. And even there, it's iffy. So the more you are north and east into Louisville and up towards Cincinnati, the area is even drier. So odds of seeing a shower, very, very slim. Just want to at least mention that chance in our southwest sections. Otherwise, it's the same repeating idea. We drop into the 50s and 60s at night. We heat up into the upper 80s and lower 90s in the afternoon. And then you start to see the clouds start to throw back as we head toward Tuesday and Wednesday. This is our in-house model. It's not too aggressive with it, but it can easily shave off 1 or 2 degrees off the highs. Otherwise, it'd be a nearly the same looking and feeling day as each day evolves. Now, let's get into my drawing segment because that's just where I think we get into that blocking setup where we're actually in it now, but I think it really will hold into the last 10 days of September into the very early portions of October. So I'm not as worried about this coastal low in the Carolinas now. That should eventually get the boot and head off to the east. We do have the tropics sliding up. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail today on that, but Hurricane Center's watching what will likely be Gabrielle. That'll be on the map very soon, if not this afternoon or tonight. It's way out in the Atlantic. Right now, it's way too early to know where it'll go, but obviously anywhere from the Allen chain to the East Coast has to watch that, but that's still a long way off, and it will not be an immediate factor for this week. But that's something we'll be watching again as we evolve for areas off to the east. Now, looking west is this upper low that is basically cut off from the main flow itself, and I think this is going to be our driver for the weekend. It will drift a little more to the east, very, very slow. This is very much a winterish kind of pattern, actually. When we talk about those cutoff lows that move in, and they just sit there and take forever to get out of the region, right? There are signs that this one may just spin and spin and spin for a week, maybe a week and a half before it will finally move out of the way. So a couple things with that. We're not expecting that motion to start heading our way until we get into the weekend. Slower speed than expected. That will get us the whole weekend dry. Obviously, a little faster, the chance for showers and storms will go up. We don't know yet how much of a kick because it is wandering. It doesn't have a parent flow, wind flow that's attached to. So it's just kind of moving at its own little pace, like a snail. So we just have to watch it every day and see if we see a trend on its forward motion. Otherwise, once it moves in, we will cool down, mainly because of clouds and rain and even some thunderstorms, especially on the eastern side. There will be the chance for a few thunderstorms. But it's not exactly fall air as far as cool weather because of the change of seasons. We're going to get cooler because the sun's blocked by this upper low moving through the area. So it's our source region. It's a little odd here. We don't have true Canadian air flowing in just yet. Once this moves out of the way, we could warm back up. I'm not going to rule it out, but to get back up to 90, just don't see it happening. Really, really tough for that to happen once this low moves out because we're so far into the season now. We're crossing into October at that point. We do see several shots of colder air moving into October. I mentioned on Friday that to me, October looked to be a busy month, and I still feel that way. It's not going to stay warm and cool at all time periods. I think it's going to be a whiplash type of month for October. But I do think there will be mentions of snow, not only in the Rockies, but maybe into the Great Lakes. And we could even get cold at times. I'm not going to say snow, but it could get cold. And we could have thunderstorms too. So I do think it could be a very active setup for October. So let's enjoy the quiet weather this week, because I do think once we get into this upper low setup and it moves in, our weather will start to evolve and change the whole different scenario for the next several weeks ahead. All right, here's the Euro to kind of show this. I'll get to some of your questions. Again, we're good here today and tomorrow. We'll just watch how many clouds get thrown at us from the east. Otherwise, there's that low pressure. And again, the blue indicates cooler weather. The red and orange or gold color indicates fuel for thunderstorms. So anywhere in that red shade areas, we're going to get your lightning and thunder, most likely. Here we are Thursday. Kickoff to Louder Than Life. That low is still to our west. We get into the weekend, starts to move in to our I-65 counties here. It becomes very large. I mean, the center of it will be here in the Midwest, but its spiral bands of clouds and showers and thunderstorms will actually reach several states. This is going to be a large upper low that'll move through. So that's the reason why our rain chance is going to be a little staggered over the weekend until it gets closer. And then as we head into next week, you can see it's still moving along. And you can really see the spin to it. Kind of gets a friend. Another little piece of energy sneaks in from the Rockies and joins it. So it kind of just morphs into another one main low. Here we are on the 25th, and that's where the modeling stops. Again, this is going to take probably into the first weekend of October. If all bears what the data is showing today, that's the trend. This could all change tomorrow, but I looked at everything over the past several model runs, and this has been a common theme. They all just vary on speed, obviously, but that's looking to be our pattern in the days ahead, guys. All right, let's get into the 10-day and to some of your questions. As the 10-day is pretty self-explanatory. Again, upper 80s, lower 90s. The end of the week may end up being the hottest part. If we can get to 92 or 93, it would likely be once we lose the influence of that Carolina low. Then I don't see any high clouds being thrown at us, and then it's free rain. Then we have a chance to really heat up. So the hottest of the week may be at the end. Otherwise, we'll start to throw in the rain chances over the weekend as that low moves closer. And as it moves closer, we'll start to taper the temperatures down. It's actually a very easy forecast when you know all the players in the field. This all makes sense. Okay, so Anna, you said, what about the weekend? I hope that explained it. Jonathan, no, you guys are really pinning me here. What would be the timing for any rain on Sunday? The bats. That's tough, Jonathan, because, again, it just depends on when it moves in. Now, I will say when you're on the eastern side of an upper low, you're more at risk for afternoon showers and thunderstorms, the more the heating of the day type of stuff, not so much rain at night. Once the low moves over you or you're on the western side, it's more the general light rain that can last day and night. And therefore, you're typically cooler as well in that section of the upper low. So we'll be on the warmer side initially, which will make it more spotty and pop-up showers and thunderstorms. I don't see anything really severe on this just because there's not a whole lot of wind energy. But anytime you have a low pressure it's spinning, you do have to watch for any isolated severe on the front end of those lows. And that would be this weekend if we have any threat. Too early to talk about that. But I know someone's going to ask if you haven't already. And then once we get to the other side of the low, then we'll get a lot of rain, cooled air. Best day, what is that, to mow your brown grass? Well, if you don't have to mow it, I wouldn't. If it's really short right now and brown, I wouldn't fool with it. I would leave it alone. You would do more harm actually mowing it. If it's really, really tall, then make sure you cut it really tall. Don't cut it short thinking I'll just cut it down to get me through the fall and winter season, so it's really short. You don't want to do that right now. I would cut it high because we're still going to get several rain events before we get our frost and, the growing season. So that's the best way, in my opinion, to handle doing too much damage to the yard during stressful times. I know a lot of trees have already lost their leaves. It's like, come on, get some rain so we don't have this ugly fall. Totally understand. Everyone good? Type 5 times 8. 5 times 8 if you're good. And this all makes sense. I think it does. It seems pretty easy, right? And what we're going to do this week, since it is quiet, we're going to just kind of trend this upper low setup, and we're going to be talking more about October as I get more data this week. So now that we have a fairly quiet weather pattern, I can talk a little more long term. So we're going to have much more on the October trends for this week, but we got to get our answers for this upper low moving in for the weekend. Everyone looks good. Morgan, Janice, I got your note, by the way. I haven't had a chance to respond. I promise I didn't forget. I'm just really bad with a lot of messages right now, so I apologize. Okay, everyone's good. All right, listen, you guys are awesome. Enjoy this week. If you're a big fan of summer weather, and there are a lot of you that are on here watching, this is your week. This may be your final week to enjoy it. If you have the pool still open, this may be your final week to enjoy the pool. Take advantage of that. Once we evolve into the weekend and next week, we get into a little bit more of a reality check. All right, guys, you all take it easy. I will see you all midday coming up at 11 a.m. All right, take care. I'll see you guys on the flip side.